What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me, Liam. And today we are diving into Mayfair, which is season 2, episode 9, I believe. We're one away from the finale. Seven. We're one away from the finale, so there's 8 total episodes. It's been, as you know, if you've been tuning into our channel, if you've been watching these reviews, these discussions with us, if you've been chiming in the comments, which we really do appreciate you guys doing that, then you already know that we've been struggling with this particular series. And I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who commented in our last 2 videos, because you know, we were struggling with what was going on. You know, we were struggling with some of the character development, the plot holes. And I really want to say that, like, you guys reassuring us in the comments that, yeah, this really is bad. The books are not being interpreted well into these series. There's a lot of character development backstory that we're not getting, and they're just really mishandling the whole thing. And so I really appreciate you guys giving us that confirmation. It actually makes me want to finish the series, because now I know, like, it isn't just me, like, it really is something happening. So with that being said, a little bit of housekeeping we got to go through as always. If you have not subscribed already, go ahead and do so down below. Hit the little notification bell so you never miss another episode. We drop about 3 to 4 a week now, covering many different topics as far as Paradise, Mayfair, Witches, Invincible. We also have Reacher that just started. So we're reviewing, you know, a little bit for everybody, but we also only review the things that we like, so that's on the list. Oh, also in Patreon now, thanks to you guys and all of your requests, wanting more behind the scenes access, more access to us, just, you know, shout outs and stuff. So we set up a Patreon, so for as little as a cup of coffee, you guys can become a member and greatly help us out with the production of these videos. So with all that out of the way, let's dive in to this episode, episode 7.
Lasher got his memories back. Cortland is now Julian. That's about all that's important. Bye.
See ya. I imagine that'd be pretty much it, right? No, so I mean, as far as this episode goes, it was a lot more of the same. There was a bunch of stuff that didn't need to happen. There was a lot of unnecessary story, and then there was also, like, certain things that they had no context. Like, they turned Lark into a freaking voodoo doll, and I had no idea what was going on the entire time.
You didn't?
Not like the witch just randomly showed up in his room, like, kind of in like a succubus kind of seductive kind of scene, and then all of a sudden it goes into this ritual where she has like a needle. I had no idea what was going on.
So
I don't even know where those witches came from.
they did that before to the child, if you remember, to protect against from Rowan when they first showed up there. Do you remember that?
I didn't realize that they had done that specific spell on her. I just knew that they were very cowardly.
Assuming.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember that they very cowardly used the youngest member of their family as a line of defense to shield against Rowan. Mm-hmm. So if she attempts to hurt any of them, that damage is inflicted onto her.
Yeah.
So they just moved it from the little girl to Lark, which I totally got once he cut his hand and I saw what happened. But like, and then I'm like, what's the point of this whole scene? Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah. That's no fun.
But unfortunately, that's a lot of season 2. It's what is the point of this? What is going on? And thank you guys for letting us know. It's because we have so much of the actual backstory missing.
Yeah, apparently Rowan is a lot more intelligent than she's being portrayed as.
Yeah.
Was one of the things I was reading as well.
Yeah.
And
I heard that Sip's way more ghetto in the actual book, way more like into little girls.
ooh,
Lasher is not a force for good. He's like a nefarious, evil, like absolutely horrendous type of character. He is the big bad. Yeah, and Rowan's like actually intelligent and cunning and not just like this bumbling, almost like idiot that they portray her as now. So I'm going to read the books. I am. Thank you guys for taking the time to comment and let us know, because I am going to read the books. I think the books would be fascinating. Anne Rice is great. These shows are just, it's rough.
so even if Lasher is like this big bad, doesn't mean he can't be portrayed as good right now based on the information they have. They're only going based off memories and stuff like that. And as we know, it can be manipulated in regular everyday people, let alone people that have magical abilities that can do the manipulation. We see memories being picked up again, erased from items and stuff like that. All right, so if you remember, Lucifer was not always bad, right?
It's an angel.
Yeah. So same kind of thing could happen. It could be like a false prophet kind of situation where think Lasher's gonna, or Ashlar's the savior, and then he ends up being the one that brings on the apocalypse of that family.
I like that theory. So here's the thing. we bash it enough, but let's actually go into some of the stuff that did work, right? And so the whole thing with Lasher being an angel, almost as if like a Luciferian character, where it's like he can be this power for good, but something corrupts him and he becomes this ultimate power of evil. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where they go to like where they found the body, right, with Sip. And he's like, all I remember is looking up at the sky, walking through the forest, looking up at the sky, and everything goes black. So Lasher, or Ashlar, or whatever that character was in history, once he had become a priest and he was doing whatever miracles with his blood for the children and all of the things they were talking about, someone didn't like that. Or someone saw it as evil or unnatural and killed him. Like, he was executed from behind, not even knowing what was going to happen. So, at a young age is what they say. So that leads me to believe that, one, either someone was incredibly jealous and killed him, or two, he was not as good as the memories are currently allowing us to see it. Mm-hmm. Almost as if the blood corrupts. Mm. Like, yes, it has the ability to create and build, but it also maybe has the ability to control. So now he has all these kids under his control.
Okay, so it sounds like you're combining like vampire lore and the One Ring to rule them all.
Why not, right? At this point, they're so far off of like what I would believe Lasher's character actually is. I'm just going down a theory hole using any kind of fantasy background I have.
I was right about the Tua de Danann aspect of it, because once he ended up having his powers in the memories, he was straight up druidic.
I don't know. I don't think he has power, right? Like, he can't like raise his hand and like move things with his mind like Clean can. He can't read people's minds like Moira can. He doesn't necessarily have power. I think his blood is a source of power, which is why when his blood touches things, magic happens. I don't necessarily know that he wields power, like a sorcerer type of power.
And that's why Rowan needs to be near him.
Yeah, so Rowan is like the manifestation of his power. Like, so what I would believe the original Lasher was able to do is what Rowan can do now. It's almost like when Suzanne summoned him back from the dead, she got all the actual power and he just became like a host.
Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Cortland ended up being tricked by
Is he coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know, guys, in the comments. Was that so played cheesy? Did you guys totally see it coming? Like that heartfelt, we need to stop our father? Like, come on now. I didn't buy it for a second. Let me know if you guys did.
In that, Ian did get to save his son.
I don't think his son was ever actually in danger.
Probably just a plot, but still, I think Ian would have gone through with it anyway, just because it's what needs to be done in his eyes.
Yeah. I think that, maybe you're right. I was just like reviewing what's
It's that whole sunk loss thing again,
Yeah.
right? But with Ian, it's like, this has to get done, period. We're so invested in it. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm willing to sacrifice my son to achieve this goal that may or may not happen.
Yeah. I think he kind of looks at his son as a screw up too. And so to like give up his son for his father, who's ultimately the one he's been planning this whole thing with the whole time. I don't think he would have any problem doing that. I think Cortland trying to brag about his power was his downfall. In the car, right? He's like, I got a power too now because of Lasher. And he's like, oh, really? And that's when the brother was like, we're going to put him in your body instead, you idiot. Yep. But Cortland's also a fool who's just looking for any kind of family approval. He's looking to be loved and accepted, and Ian played that like a freaking fiddle.
Yeah, he did. I did enjoy Julian being like, well, damn, now I gotta talk like this fucking idiot forever.
No, it is.
Like, that was the only downside to it in his eyes, aside from the body. He's like, your dick still work? I hear they got pills for that. And they're right. Well, I'm good anyway.
I was going to say that might have been a downside till he realized the Viagra exists. And he was like, oh, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the better moments of the episode, was the humor and the Julian playing Cortland.
Yeah. Yeah. Rowan bumbling through the tunnels for a while and then finding Lasher. That was kind of pointless. I mean, I love the idea of her actually having some intelligence to use the flame, and the closer she gets to Lasher, the bigger the flame gets, so use it to get closer. Like, that makes a lot of sense. So I thought that part was like kind of cool. It was like maybe showing us who she really is, not this bubbling idiot. But yeah.
We're also seeing her succumbing to him repeatedly over and over, just as much as Lasher is with the other one, because they literally need to have ropes to keep them apart. It's like, what the fuck? It's so magnetic and primal.
Well, I think that you touched on this on 2 different episodes where it's almost like a succubus or an incubus where their power comes from like this erotic attraction, like this like seductiveness, right? I guess where an incubus is your dream, succubus is like the sexual side of things. But whenever a woman from the Mayfair comes around Lasher, whatever the anger, whatever they were upset about, they might have hated him a minute ago, they want him. It doesn't matter. Rowan's no different. Rowan has this weird dynamic that she's also his mother now, which is like creepy weird in a lot of different ways. Because one, I think she does.
I fucked you, and then you came out the same hole.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my brain doesn't want to process that. But what I was going to say is that, what was I going to say? My brain's
Out. I kind of fucked that one up. I'm sorry. That's the same thing I was thinking about. It's like chicken before the egg with a baby.
So, what I'm thinking is that Taltos, the blood of a Taltos has some sort of above life, like they say, it's a life-giving essence, right? So I think whatever is inside of them naturally wants to produce life. And so anything that gets around them is like, almost like a pheromone. It like takes over, right? Which is why when they got so close to each other, they needed ropes because like they just can't not come together. But also, I think there's another layer to that where Rowan even is kind of in denial about it, but everyone else around her keeps calling her on it, where it's like, you can't be without Lasher because the power he gives you is also incredibly seductive to you. You might not realize it, but you like being in control and being powerful. And people fearing you and doing what you say. And I don't think she's come to full realize, like she's still like riding that river of denial, as you will, on that one. But I want to just touch on the fact that her dress that she was wearing, I got like Lilith vibes all day long. Like they wanted her to look like the mother of a vampire. It was like, I thought that was like a nod to like kind of who he maybe really is inside, like a demon.
Well, they're very good at that. I mean, look what they did with Ian all this season once he was introduced. He was the baddie. Then when they actually see him, oh, Julian's the baddie. He was just telling us all these horrible stories about Ian. And now we're seeing it all come to fruition. So I don't think we are going to be disappointed. I think the final episode is going to show maybe the darker nature of Lasher, or the darker nature of them two in proximity and coming together, like a magnet exploding.
Yeah, could be. I was really, the one thing I would say about this episode that I was very excited about was actually getting the backstory for Lasher. No, he was born, they thought he was actually born a prince, we find out. And the queen gets rid of him because she believes he's a demon and gives him to the father that she slept with, who then raises him.
Okay.
And then he turns into a priest from there, realizes he has this crazy power. He only lives like about 20-something years, they say. Like, he had a very short life before he ended up getting executed. But somewhere along the way, I think power corrupts, and that maybe somewhere it turns evil later on, after the father dies or something like that.
That's a compelling reason to stick around and watch it, but I don't think we're going to get what we want out of the show.
Unfortunately. But I have to read the books to get what I want. The show isn't going to deliver.
Yes, but I did like how they used SIP to tell the stories.
Yeah.
And combine it, how it was like flashbacks from Lasher and flashbacks from SIP and the crossover there. It was a really cool way to utilize his power in the storytelling dynamic they did.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I think they did really well. I don't know if it was part of their actual books. No idea.
Right. Yeah, but all in all, just another episode. It gave us some more information, did give us some cool lore and backstory, but I mean, we're still missing so much of what we need. And like you just mentioned, I don't think we're going to get it anytime soon, just the way they're writing the story and laying out the characters. So we will finish out this season. We will give you guys our honest and full discussion on it. And as well, always love to chat with you guys about it down in the comments. But as of right now, unless something drastically shifts, we will not be tuning in for season 3. All right, guys, really appreciate you tuning or staying with us all the way to the end of the review here. As always, really appreciate you guys commenting below and subscribing to the channel. If you have not already, make sure you do so. Hit the little notification bell so you never miss a single episode that we drop. Mayfair, which is just one of the many shows that we were interested in to check out and then reviewed. And so you can also check out an entire playlist of other shows that we have done right here, as well as something else that YouTube says you will like. And then this thing in here, YouTube says you'll like as well. But as always, don't forget to subscribe. My name is Chris.
Liam.
See you guys on the video. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.